left to right. Russell Westbrook.
You love the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me get a hell yeah!
What's up, everybody? It is Dives, Mr. Crockpot on Twitter. The Eagles come into tomorrow 1-1 after losing 24-20 versus a hard-fought battle versus the Atlanta Falcons last Sunday night. Let's start by introducing our guest today. First off, we have Jack Connell. That is the Jack Connell, TPL on Twitter. What's up, Jack?
What's going on? Obviously, a little bit of setup change. We're ceiling fan, different view, hands-free, ready to get at it.
More Jack, less ceiling fan is always a win for everybody. Also, for the first time on Party on Broad, we have Justin. You know him by his awesome work on Eagles TPL. He is Justin J. Bradley on the Twitter thing. What's up, man?
What's up, guys? How's everybody doing? Eagles game tomorrow. I'm going to the game tomorrow. Come on. I'm excited. Let's get talking about the birds here.
Let's do it. I think we on our WhatsApp chat, I am way more negative than you probably in this chat room right here. But let's start off with some key questions heading into, well, really the rest of the season. The Eagles have been decimated by injuries so far. What would you give to trade for Jalen Ramsey? Jack, lead us off, man.
I got two stipulations. If he is willing to sign an extension, and if you're not sure. If you're not sure, I give up a first rounder, a third rounder, and you swap one of your quarters, probably Ronald Darby, because you don't know if he's back next year. It's just, you're in championship contention mode. He is 24, and he is the best corner in football. You got to get it done. Those draft picks you use to get guys like that. And odds are he's going to be better than that first and third rounder combined. Now, if he's locked up and you got him for the future, I'm giving you 2 firsts and a second, at least, to get this done. I mean, that's what Baltimore offered. They offered, I believe it was first, a second, Hayden Hurst, or it was 2 firsts, something along those lines. But, I mean, I'd give anything, really. As long as 3 firsts, I don't know if I do that. But 2 firsts and a second, maybe like a third rounder or a swap of a corner is what I would give up to get him here, and he's agreeing to an extension.
I think the agree to the extension is the key phrase to that. If just me personally. What about you, Justin? Go ahead, man.
Well, I only think you do this deal if he has the extension locked in, because as we know, he's a little bit of a dramatic figure, and I don't want that extension making a big off-season issue. So I'd rather just get that out of the way. But if he's not going to do it, I just move on. It would be a shame not to get him, but I don't want that issue in the locker room. The Eagles have been known for a really good locker room the past couple of years, and I want it to stay that way. And for what to give for him, I'm still weary on the 2 first-round picks. I'm kind of leaning towards it now after hearing Jack. But for right now, I'd give a first, a second, or a third, and then a cornerback other than Ronald Darby, because Jalen Ramsey's really good friends with Darby. So I don't know. I feel like it would be better if they were together. I think Darby would be a really good number 2 corner with Jalen Ramsey, since they already had the connection at Florida State. So, we'll see what happens this week.
I just want to butt in before we go to Chris. I mean, my one thing I always want to go back to is Khalil Mack. I mean, the whole thing was, is Khalil Mack going to extend? Chicago bit the bullet. I mean, what did they trade? 2 firsts, second, kind of like what I described. And look at their defense now. It's completely different. He is a game record. Just Jalen Ramsey is a game record, just at a different side of the ball. Instead of run game, it's pass game. And he's out in coverage, and he is just lethal. He locks down a whole side of the defense. You could stick him on the left in zone, or you stick him on the left in man. Let the rest of the defense play zone. That best wide receiver is taking out the whole game. And that's huge.
What is my stance on Jalen Ramsey? And I can't believe I'm going to say this. You do whatever it takes to get Jalen Ramsey. And you know what that means? If it requires getting rid of Dallas Goedert, you do it. And a starting, legit, shut-down cornerback is so much more important. And this is all with the preface that he agrees to the extension.
You say you give up Dallas Goedert on top of 2 firsts and a second?
I would give up Dallas Goedert a first and probably some sort of future second, third, fourth round pick in a heartbeat. Because
because I mean, you already got Ertz. I get that.
Because you don't have Darby, secondary, the cornerback position for the Eagles is so vital to their success moving forward. Darby has proven you nothing. Jalen Mills has proven you nothing. You have no idea what he is. Sidney Jones has proven you nothing. Russell Douglas, probably a backup. Avonte Maddox looks good. He's gotten beat this year so far. He's playing a ton of snaps. Do we know what he is? Probably a slot cornerback. Is he a good one? Probably. We don't know yet. I think addressing the secondary, getting a shutdown cornerback for Dallas Goedert, I'd do it, man. And this is, by the way, really hard for me to say because this is coming from someone that is a huge Dallas Goedert believer. And I spent the last year plus building him up on Blue Root TPL. What up, nodding that little plug in there. But it's hard for me to say because I love Dallas Goedert, but you can find tight ends anywhere. You'll find a tight end in the second, third, fourth round draft pick in 2020. But Jalen Ramsey, you don't find guys like that. And I'm sorry, but Sidney Jones hasn't shown me that he's ready to step up. Ronald Darby, dude, man, like I have nightmares of him getting burnt by Julio Jones. I understand that no one can stop Julio Jones. He's just not there. He's on a 1-year deal. That is a major position of need. I would do that deal in a heartbeat. Any reaction to that?
I agree. I mean, that's kind of like, I feel like this is the NFL version of you saying you're willing to trade Robert Covington to get Jimmy Butler. I feel like this is probably the best description at the time.
I mean, I would, for the
how
record.
near and dear he is to your heart and how much you want this done.
I agree. Yes.
How old is Ertz? Is he 28?
Nah, he's
But
younger.
I mean, the thing is, though, you can get another tight end. Dallas Goedert, he's going to be a good tight end, but Jalen Ramsey is a generation type cornerback. Once in a while, you probably really haven't seen a cornerback. He's only 24 when he reaches his prime. Maybe since Deion Sanders. I'm not saying he's going to reach Deion those, but you haven't had a corner that's probably this good.
And it's a pass-happy league. You're not finding a cornerback in the late first round that's going to be nearly as good as Jalen Ramsey. Let's move forward. Let's talk about this game versus the Detroit Lions. Is Sunday a must-win game for the Eagles? It's do or die. Is it really do or die for the Philadelphia Eagles in Week 3? Go ahead, Jack.
I don't think so. I mean, you're kind of injury riddled. You have a very easy schedule. You have 13 more games after this. I have a feeling that you guys might just rest up. You're hoping for a win, and you're just trying to be healthy for Thursday night against Green Bay. I still think they're confident they win, but I really don't have this mindset that they're screwed if they lose. Because I mean, the division's still wide open. If you win that division, that's an automatic playoff spot, like we all know. I'm just really not that nervous about this game. or the season in general. I really don't think it's over Week 3. I mean, countless teams have shown you can scratch and claw your way to the finish line and just barely get by. I don't think it's done in Week 3.
All right, how about you, Jay Brad?
I don't want to say it's a must-win, but that Green Bay game is going to be really tough. And going down 1-3, I don't think that's what the team expected. I don't think that's what the team would be expecting or the fan base. And I don't know how they would react to that. I know they do well against adversity, but that's a pretty tough start to the season. I know injuries are a big thing, but I feel like they should, for their confidence, and I don't think it's a must-win because obviously they can get in there with a wild card spot and do whatever, playoffs, anything can happen. But for them to get good playoff positioning, I think they have to win this game.
It is absolutely a must-win game for the Philadelphia Eagles. Are you crazy, Jack?
Here's the thing. Look at all the other teams, the supposed top teams in the NFC right now. The Chicago Bears. I mean, Mitch Trubisky, what's going on down there? New Orleans, they just lost their star quarterback for at least 6 weeks.
But
you cannot go into New Orleans in a playoff game with the Philadelphia Eagles the way they are hurt with injuries. That is absolutely a absolute no. That can't happen, man. You got to win this game. We're talking about home field position here. You can't lose this game to the Detroit Lions after losing a terrible game against Atlanta. No way, man.
I mean, I guess, but you still have. Who else? Is a really guaranteed. The Patriots are the tough team. Green Bay. You have a very easy schedule.
No, Dallas,
the Dallas
Cowboys are running into the New Orleans Saints without Drew Brees. Go ahead, Justin.
I mean, I don't know. I think the Saints can still win a good amount of games without Drew Brees. Their team's very well rounded. I think they can win maybe. How many games did they say he's out? Like 6?
6 weeks. They're saying at least 6 weeks. I don't know for my fans.
Yeah, I don't know the schedule off the top of my head, but I think they could win at least half of those games, just by how talented their team is.
I mean, they have an offense to do it, but I'm just saying they are down a peg, sort of like how we are. I'm not maybe the lesser greater extremity side, but I mean, it's just they're sort of the same boat. So I really don't think we're down a complete leg as compared to the rest of the top tiers.
Yeah.
0 to 10. 0 being zero confidence, 10 being fully confident, lock in, win. What is your confidence level heading into the game tomorrow? Go ahead, Jack.
I'd say 7. I'm not really. I mean, you should be able to ground pound the ball all day. I mean, Snacks Harrison, Sean Robinson, like they're good, but I mean they really don't have that much of a supporting cast around the rest of them. I mean the linebackers are okay, but I mean your offensive line. I mean, yeah. I mean, what's the word on Peters? Is he fine? What's the
Peters?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fine. I'm pretty
good.
sure. Yeah.
I mean, you really shouldn't be that nervous. You should be able to run the ball. I mean, if they're smart and they run the ball. I mean, their secondary, you got Darius Slay out there. I mean, he's obviously a menace. But I mean, if you just stick to the simple stuff and you don't risk it, I really don't think there should be much of an issue. Kenny Galladay, Kerryon Johnson, they're good, but if this defense should be how it should, I really am saying that very nervously. But I mean, even if it goes down to shootout, you should. If you don't win a shootout with the Detroit Lions
at home, yeah.
What about you, Justin?
Well, I have my confidence around a 7 or 8. Well, first of all, I'm undefeated at Eagles games, and I'm going to tomorrow's game. So that, I mean, it's pretty much confirmed that they're going to win. But in reality, this team, even though they're down a couple players, we'll see about Alshon and Goddard. They're questionable. I think Goddard's more likely to play than Alshon, but we'll have to see about that. But overall, the team. This is why the team's known as one of the best teams in the league going into the season with how deep they are. I think they're still way more talented than the Lions team is. It's at home too. Eagles are known for a good home record. I think they should pull this one out.
I agree. I agree with you guys. For whatever reason, I have more confidence in this game versus the Detroit Lions than last week. Last week, I was like, out of 4, I was like in full panic mode with you guys last week saying, this is not an easy win for the Eagles. And you look at the history with the Falcons, like every single game versus the Falcons in past were brutal, gut-wrenching games. You look at the past with the Detroit Lions, Eagles cruise. And I think this is a very more comfortable win for the Eagles. Like you guys said, I really hope this is a game more so than the W. The offense gets rolling. We know you know what you're going to get with the defense. It's probably going to be inconsistent pass rush. Who knows what you get from Jim Schwartz week in, week out? Who knows what you get from the secondary? But at least what you want to see from the Philadelphia Eagles is that you get a flash of what they can become on offense. And I think that is more specifically to the offensive line, because that's way more important. Let's talk about 0 to 10 level of confidence with the Eagles getting to the Super Bowl. The Eagles have been decimated by injuries so far. Lack of play calling has been, that's another issue in itself. 0 being full confidence the Eagles can make it to the Super Bowl. 10 being fully confident. This season began, the Eagles were Super Bowl contenders. Where are you at that with that now? Go ahead, Jack.
I would say, I mean, I was going to go off the stipulation here. Everybody who's injured that should be healthy by a Super Bowl is healthy, and no real major changes happen, no major injuries, trades, anything like that. I go like 6.75, maybe 7. It's just, I mean, it's kind of hard to split 110, but I mean, it all really depends on the matchups and has the home field advantage, kind of like how you said. I mean, New Orleans, obviously that's a really interesting matchup. LA, I mean, you've handled LA before.
Easy.
They don't feel, I mean, to me, they feel good. I don't know if they're still that same beast they were years past. Is that just me? Do you guys feel that way?
Yeah, what about you, Justin?
Well, Doug Peterson's undefeated against Sean McVay, so I think he's the better coach, but people argue that. But for my confidence level for the Super Bowl, I have it around a 6 or 7. It's way too early still to be saying Super Bowl, and I don't want to jinx anything. But by the time playoffs start, hopefully everyone's back. At least 90% of the roster is good. Hopefully, we'll see what happens with Deshaun and all those people. But it does depend on home field advantage and all those things. So I think it's still a little early to tell. And let's say we get Jalen Ramsey, I think that'll go up a little bit. But we'll have to wait and see for that.
They need Jalen Ramsey, man. I'm way more pessimistic than you guys. I'm at like a 3 or 4. You have them rushing back Deshaun Jackson with a groin injury. He's missed 9 games the last 2 years. Very worried about that. Is he not getting surgery? He should get the surgery. It's stupid not to get the surgery. We need him for November, December, not tomorrow and the next few weeks. They could be rushing back Dallas Goedert. That makes me super nervous. It all boils down to me, though, the line of scrimmage. You're not seeing the Eagles come home on the defensive line. You're not seeing the push from the offensive line. 2.8 yards per carry on the ground this year is laughable, given how much we talked about how good that Eagles rushing attack could be this year. That's not good enough. Two sacks in 2 games from the defensive line, and we have Tim Jernigan out. Now, Fletcher Cox, where's he been?
Double teamed every single play.
Fletch,
The real Fletcher
Oh.
Cox has to come back and lead the defense, but I don't know if that matters. I've been harping about the defensive end position on the Eagles all offseason long. Josh Sweat, not good enough. Derek Barnett, I love you. You get to the quarterback, but you don't get to him. Get to the quarterback, Derek Barnett. He doesn't get home. It needs to be better at the line of scrimmage. I'm very worried. I'm very worried where the position of strength for the Philadelphia Eagles is not translating. It's only 2 games. I'm probably panicking way more than I should, but I can't ignore the red flags that are sticking at me right in the fucking face. Any reaction to that?
Well, a little bit of curse there. I wasn't expecting that. But, the first game, everybody's just getting back into it. They're all rusty. The second game, a lot of people underestimate Atlanta's offensive line. They spent whole offseason, this whole draft, completely retooling that. The thing with young offensive linemen, I think Quentin Nelson, they show, if you know what you're doing, you could be good out the gate. You don't have to be coddled. Andre Dillard, he's different. He's got Hall of Fame left tackle in front of him. But I think the thing is, the offensive line, these defensive line against the offensive lines, they've had some lower matchups. You've had some injuries. I really think they can start to get together. It's going to be difficult now, obviously. You've lost 2 of your main key D tackles in rotation, so your guys can be a little more tired. But, that really shouldn't change anything around the edge. Derek Barnett, he needs to learn to get rid of that guy and just get to the quarterback. He's there. He just needs to make one more move, and he's in there. Brandon Graham, he just needs to pick up a little bit. I don't know what's going on with him. Fletcher Cox, I think, has just been getting double teamed. When you're getting double teamed, stuff like that, there's nothing you can do. You're getting double teamed so your other guys can get their one-on-one matchups and get to the quarterback. He's doing his job. It's very, very difficult to break a double team blocking if you're getting blocked by 2 pretty good guard and center or guard and tackle. I really think it's just a little bit overhyped by you. We'll reassess that after this week.
Can you name me who has the 2 sacks on the season for the Philadelphia Eagles?
Jernigan.
Jernigan's gone. That's 1. He's gone. How about 2?
It was
Brandon Grant. No.
Deshaun Hall?
Senday, who has been absolutely this season so far. Any reaction to that, Brad? Brad?
I think they need to get, obviously, as we just talked about, do a better job of getting to the quarterback. One thing I don't think we've talked about enough in general is, where's Vinny Curry at? Where should I think they could activate Deshaun Hall and bench Vinny Curry, to be honest. But someone has to show up. Josh Sweat nearly got a sack on Matt Ryan last week. Derek Barnett hit the quarterback a couple times. Now he just needs someone to finish and light a spark on defense. And Fletcher Cox did say earlier this week in a locker room press conference that it's the best he's felt so far. So hopefully he can show a little bit of that this tomorrow. So
A little bit of a news piece before we just go forward. It looks like Antonio Brown's career might not be over. Drew Rosenhaus said there are a few teams that are interested still, despite all the legal communication that's been going on in bringing in the Pro Bowl wide receiver to their teams. He didn't go to teams. He said there's a few teams that are still interested in bringing him in.
Welcome to the Dallas Cowboys, Antonio Brown.
Okay, in all seriousness though, like the Eagles were one of the top teams. Like I know they might have moved on, but like they were really close to trading for him, at least from that audio tape that was leaked. I mean, I don't think they would do it, but how would you guys feel?
I don't think they should do that. It was a very different world, a very different situation a month ago. What he's done now, he shouldn't be on an NFL team currently.
Well, I don't believe that
either. He was just being crazy. Now this is just beyond unacceptable.
Yeah. I agree with Jack completely. There's no way you trade for that kind of guy when the Eagles are already in enough turmoil as it is.
They learned their lesson.
Well, no, they just have to sign him.
They learned their lesson 15 years ago when a certain number 81 came in the team, and he seems to have learned his craziness from that certain someone. So
you don't put that level of asset in a wide receiver position. Put that asset into a cornerback, a secondary, an offensive lineman. That's the Eagles' way. No way that's happening. What's that?
I said heavy emphasis on cornerback.
Cornerback, correct. So let's talk about the top storylines of the game heading into tomorrow. I will lead us off. Right. My first storyline of the game versus the Detroit Lions is not necessarily player versus player. You're going to see a pattern here. I've got 3 of them. The first one is the headspace between the ears of Mike Groh. Mike Groh has to find a way to integrate the passing attack, Carson Wentz, into the air attack with a lot of Mac Hollins and JJ Arcega-Whiteside. I don't know how that's going to happen. Both were just completely unready for that game versus the Atlanta Falcons. I think that's a huge key. I don't know what they do there. They will probably put maybe Miles Sanders and Darren Sproles more at wide receiver, maybe run them a little bit more. But I think that is a huge key between getting the offense going because you're not going to see a lot of 12 personnel. We don't know what's going to happen with Dallas Goedert. It's such a mystery in terms of how they're going to move those chains. What's a major storyline for you, Jack?
I think it's just establishing the run game. The run game opens up your entire offense. They need to pound it in between the tackles. By doing that, and they keep doing that, they can allow some play action, or they can work on their RPO. The play action will suck up those linebackers. You can throw some posts right behind them, some ends. It just opens up your entire offense, allows you to go for those deep bombs and everything like that. The run game, everything is based off the run game. I think that's how I see the pass has been a little faltery this year because these teams are dropping back in their coverages already because they know that the front 4, maybe the inside 2 linebackers can contain a run. They're not that worried about it. If you're pounding it, getting 3-4 yards a carry, they got sucked in a little bit. It opens everything else up. And that's what you need to go to. I think they need to scrap this whole Jordan Howard closer thing. They need to run him the ball. I'm sorry, Miles Sanders isn't ready yet. He's a 2-back. I'm saying he's a very good 2-back. He is not the ball carrier yet. He's not the workhorse yet. In a couple weeks, maybe, I've been saying that you need to feed Jordan Howard the ball.
I could not agree anymore with that. That was another kind of reality check that I had. I was a team running back 1 for Miles Sanders the last few weeks. He showed me that he's not ready. I mean, you saw him running to the outside again and again and again.
A big thing with running backs. You need to trust your linemen. You need to trust the holes. They're going to be there. Just run to where it is. You have one of the best lineman groups in the NFL. Trust that they're going to make those holes for you. The worst thing you can do is if a lineman's blocking the defensive end out and you bounce it out, he rips through, he gets you 2-yard loss instead of taking it up inside and getting 4 yards of that carry. That's a 6-yard shift. That's huge. You need to learn to trust the lineman. And he can make those cuts inside the tackles and make it bigger gains, but don't make the cut before you even get to the hole.
Like you said, I fully agree with that. It was very Shady-esque of what he did back when Shady was young. That's what he did all the time back in his sophomore years, LaShawn McCoy. And I fully agree. Get Jordan Howard more involved. establish the running game. Even if it doesn't work, don't abandon it. Keep attacking. Keep working it. What about you, Justin?
Well, mine specifically on one person, that's Isaac Sayamalu. Last week was arguably one of his worst games he's played, and coincidentally last year, I think it was, or maybe the year before, week 2, or I forget, but he had a really bad game week 2 again. Well, it was last year or the year before now, I can't remember. But if you saw the All-22 tape, he was like on skates the whole game, and he needs to be able to bounce back and show confidence in himself. So hopefully he can do that.
One bad lineman can ruin your entire day.
Yep.
I mean, it all it takes is one blown block, either pass protection or that run block. If he's that guard pulling on trap and he whiffs, that's a huge play. He needs to fix himself. I mean, it's just don't overlunge. Just get engaged with your guy. Stay low. Drive your feet. I mean, I think he can pick it up. I'm not too nervous about it. He's got a lot of help around him, so he shouldn't have to worry too much.
Well, if all fails, I mean, I guess they could bring Wiz back, but like, who do you put in that? You put Vaitai at the guard position if he were to get benched, or what would you do there?
He did play a little guard. Vaitai did play guard during the preseason, but I don't know. And that's a really good one, Justin.
I don't know. I don't know how Vaitai would translate as a guard in regular season. That's something I'd have to see on film a little bit, break that down.
All right. That was my second key to the game, or storyline for the game, was the headspace between Doug Peterson. My third storyline of the game is the headspace between Jim Schwartz. We saw Jim Schwartz probably called the best defensive game he's had. Probably not in his career, but he blitzed. He blitzed. With the secondary in shambles, the defensive line is in shambles. Will we see that Jim Schwartz again on Sunday? I really hope so. You have to dial the blitz against Matt Stafford. You have to, get to the quarterback. They're not doing it with 4 personnel. You have to blitz. What's another storyline for you, Jack?
I mean, you talking about the defense. I'd probably have to say Carson Wentz is still getting right. I think he's getting back into it. I think you've seen flash in 2017, that falling throw, the diving. The dive made me very scared. It looked a lot like LA 2 years
PTSD.
ago.
That's what I had.
They said he was giving himself up. But that's besides the point. I think he's starting to get himself there slowly but surely. He needs to just keep going at it, trusting his receivers, trusting his line, and just doing what he does best. I've no doubt that he can. It's just a thing he's just got to build back. And I think maybe by next week it's something that we'll see in full force.
I will fully admit that I am not in the camp of Carson Wentz showing me a lot during that second half. I already knew he had a lot of heart. I knew he wore his heart on his sleeve. I don't care. I saw a quarterback that didn't throw the ball away. I saw a quarterback that was, jumping into defensive players. I was not impressed by Carson Wentz, and I fully admit I'm probably in the minority there. I saw him. You know what I saw from Carson Wentz last week? I saw a crucial down where he overthrew Nelson Aguilar on the sideline, and that really frustrates me. And I know the entire game versus the Falcons was a giant clusterfuck. Everyone was hurt. They were throwing in new guys and new positions. But watching him throw on his back foot when he didn't need to, and not step into throws with a wide open wide receiver on just a routine throw on that is not the Carson Wentz from 2017. I'm worried about that. That is a legit worry for me. What about you, Justin? Any other top storyline?
Mine was just overall the injuries and the people stepping up for those people being injured. I think we need to see a big game from JJ and Matt Collins. Matt Collins did step up a little bit at the end of that game, and also Nelson Aguilar, obviously, after that big drop. I know he had that big catch later on, but that drop literally, I mean, we've talked about it this whole week. That drop would have won them the game, most likely. But yeah, I think Aguilar needs to step up, especially if these next couple weeks we're out of Deshaun and Alshon.
My thing I was supposed to say with you had a safety screaming down. If he caught it, I think he might have got like 5 extra yards more, but you had a safety right there. He would have closed that gap. It would have been about the same down distance as that 4th down conversion. I really don't think it was. I think everybody's overthinking too. Well, yeah, I was just major misplay, but it was made up the next play after for probably about the same amount of yardage, maybe even a little bit more. I get the whole situation; he should have caught it, but the whole what if, it ended up being the exact same thing, just a couple plays later.
I
Maybe
agree.
just one play later.
I
Yeah.
agree. I agree that play was, gut wrenching. But like you said, Jack, there was so many more important plays in that game. They still haven't scored a first quarter point. Have they? I mean,
You shouldn't say what if at the end of the fourth quarter. You should have got it done earlier in the game.
I fully
You
agree with that.
shot yourself in the foot way too early.
I fully agree with that. Abandoning the run way too early. There was so many things wrong with that game versus the Atlanta Falcons. I've still not have come down from that game. It was just, there's so much of a mess from top to bottom with that game. Let's talk a little bit about a prediction. Who wants to lead off? How about you, Justin? You lead us off with a game prediction on Sunday. You're going to the game. You're gonna win us the game.
Like I said I'm undefeated at going to Eagles games. So I think they're gonna be. I'm gonna be 4-0 at Eagles games after tomorrow. Like I talked about earlier, I think this team overall is a better team even with the injuries that they have. It's at home. Eagles have one of the best home records the past couple of years. I don't know the stat on that, but I know that. Does anyone know that stat on their home record recently? Okay. Yeah, so overall, better team. I think they should win. I think Wentz will step up, have a big game. I think we'll have maybe more than one sack tomorrow. So I think Cox might get one. I think 23-17 Eagles.
All right. How about you, man? Go ahead, Jack.
I think 27-13 Eagles. I mean, it's going to be – I think you're going to get down there a lot, but you won't be able to finish the job. And eventually, over time, you'll finally start to kick in the end zone a little bit. I think Kerryon Johnson might have his way a little bit until the Eagles start splitzing a little more. I really think they should always send one-man blitz, five-man to line, get everybody their one-on-one matchups, see if that affects anything, how those guys are doing, and adjust it from there overall. But, yeah, I mean, I think once outside of Slay, if he stays away from Slay, he shouldn't really have that issue throwing the ball to his targets. I mean, you still got Ertz there. You got the running backs. I mean, Slay, I feel like will probably be over Aguilar. I mean, if Jeffrey and D-Jax are still out, I mean, I really don't. I mean, if the running game gets like it should be, I really don't think it should be that much of a difficult game. 27-13.
27-13. I'm right around like a 26-20 Eagles victory tomorrow. More importantly than anything, we need to see the Eagles offensive line dominate the line of scrimmage tomorrow. We need to get Miles Sanders in the game. We need to get Jordan Howard involved in the game, and do not abandon it. Just that is, I think, the biggest key to a victory tomorrow. I want Carson to look good. I don't really care if Carson throws the ball 20 times. I don't care. Let's just keep him healthy tomorrow. Let's move forward with the offensive line, and defensively. Let's get some love with the secondary. I really want to see the secondary step up on Sunday. They have been atrocious, I think, through 2 games so far. So I think getting the secondary back to what it was in the preseason, which I thought they looked really good, and they have not so far. And that includes Avonte Maddox. Hopefully Sidney Jones gets another interception. That'd be awesome. Any last comments before we wrap this up? Go ahead, Jack.
I mean, I just keep thinking in my head by Thursday night, we could be having a completely different conversation if a couple moves happen, or a certain move happens. But I mean, you're talking a completely different ball game. Fingers crossed.
A game changer. How about you, Justin?
I just need this team to score in the first quarter. It's ridiculous. I know they're down a couple people, but this team is capable of just scoring the first quarter. Even a field goal, I'll take it. They need some points on the board. I don't care how they get them.
I don't know whether you stop the scripted plays. Like, I don't know what is.
Where are the screenplays? The Eagles were known for one of the best screen games in the NFL.
Just use them sparingly. Don't use them on third.
Yeah, but how many have they even tried? They tried like one to get in the Redskins game, and they tried like one, maybe. No, I don't even think they tried any in the Falcons game. Maybe one.
Yeah, I mean they need to establish the run game first and foremost. After that, everything will take care of itself. Make sure you follow Justin on Twitter at Justin J. Bradley, and make sure you follow Jack at Jack Connell TPL. I'm Chris, Mr. Crockpot on Twitter.
And the Sixers win it! Wow! Oh man, Embiid just posterized Russell Westbrook.
You love the Philadelphia Eagles? Let me get a hell yeah!